about black men defecting over to the patriot Republican side of things. I think Trump doubled his support among black men. I was just looking at it now. I think depending on the exit polling, it looked like anywhere from 12, maybe even possibly upwards of 18% of black men had voted for Trump. Are you seeing something like that in your own experience?
Absolutely.
Are you seeing black men abandoning the Democratic Party and being attracted much more to a patriot-based Republican Party?
Yeah, yes, I am. And I appreciate your nuance because, black women, it's a harder nut to crack. But
Yeah,
when you're
that's a tough
looking
one.
at black men, absolutely. And I saw it in 2020 when I ran for the very first time for the 4th Congressional District. Black Lives Matter, they were having rallies here in my community, in my county, which sits right outside of Philadelphia. It's the second most wealthiest county in the state of Pennsylvania, where I live in Montgomery County. It's the 3rd most populated county. And so these people are rich and there's a lot of them and they're real woke. And so they were having a lot of Black Lives Matter rallies. They would not invite me to those rallies. So I just started showing up, walking up on the stage, taking the mic and saying, what you gonna do about it? I'm black. And I would start talking to black people, and every single time they would just start applauding. Why? Because black people are not special little unicorns. We want exactly what everyone else wants. We want safe streets. We want good jobs. We want good schools. When I pick up the phone and call 911, I don't want a social worker coming to my house trying to have a conversation with me. I want the popo. And so I go up on stage and I'm talking to black people because, again, where I live in Montgomery County is the second wealthiest county in the state of Pennsylvania, but where black people live, it's 35% below the poverty level. Wow. And I would ask black people when I go into their communities, help me do the math on that. How is that possible? And then, and I have the other folks just standing right there. So they began to bring me into their community on their side of the tracks. The black men started going door to door with my flyers, handing it out to people. That doesn't happen to Republicans. And now so that was in 2020. So today, I had about an hour and a half between meetings up in the northeast portion of Pennsylvania. My team brought about 30 black men into a room. I spoke to them for 30 minutes. The next 30 minutes, they all changed their voter registration from Democrat to Republican, except for one. You can go out there on Facebook and see that. Now I have the Horn of Africa. I'm sure your listeners are familiar with that. We're talking about Sudan, Somalia, Ethiopia, Eritrea. There's about 100,000 of them here in Pennsylvania, highly concentrated between Harrisburg and Philadelphia. They sought me out. Overwhelmingly black men who most of them are Democrats. I've met with them about 6 times now. The last 4 times they have done what they call change your registration party. They're making 1,000 phone calls a day because they realize I can't help them if I don't get past the primary. And in order for me to get past the primary, they have to vote for me. But in order to do that, they have to change their voter registration, and they're doing it. So I am very excited. The Republican Party, there's a ton of new voices, not just black people, but a ton of new voices, new faces. The only thing we can do to screw the pooch here is to pick a bad candidate. And that's what I keep saying to the Republican Party. Don't screw the pooch and pick a bad candidate.
Right.
Pick a candidate that has the ability to go into every single corner of the Commonwealth and go get those votes, because we Republicans, we have the best story to tell. We just keep picking people who suck at telling it. We got to start picking better people to tell our stories.
So, Kathy,